This is my Jasper AI review, a product overview, the secret sauce to actually making AI tools like this work really well, a few examples, some alternatives, a brutally honest opinion from a 13-year veteran blogger who is super skeptical of AI tools like this. That'd be me, by the way. Let's get started right now. Here's the big fat takeaway first. Jasper is an AI writing assistant that is supposed to help you produce content faster and easier. And to that end, yes, it does actually work. Long form blog posts and short form copywriting and Facebook ads or YouTube description and stuff like that, faster and easier. But there's always going to be a big but. If you expect Jarvis to be like a one-click, standalone, literally produce everything for you, you're going to be sorely disappointed because it can't do that yet, at least. I'm going to be honest with you. I went through 3 paid Jasper AI trials, and I kind of gave up the first 2 times because I didn't understand this. There is a very specific secret sauce, which I'm going to share with you in this video in like a minute and a half. It does work. It does do those things, but you have to learn how to use it. So that's the big takeaway. Yes, Jasper AI does actually work, and it will help you write content faster and easier, but you have to learn how to use it, and you can't expect it to be completely done for you. It's an assistant, underline. And yes, there's a link in the description below that is my affiliate link that will get you 10,000 free words so you can try Jasper AI for free. It's in the link below. Go click it. Moving on. All right, quick product overview, the pricing, and some alternatives. So what is Jasper? Jasper is an writing assistant to help you produce content faster and easier, yada, yada. Okay, they use a technology called GPT-3. It's from a company called OpenAI, super fancy AI machine learning stuff. Here's how it works. Number 1, you feed Jasper some inputs, you give it some direction, you write in a description of what you want it to create. 2, GPT-3 has a massive database of like half the internet. Actually, it's like 20, 30% or something. I don't remember, but it has a lot of data that it analyzes. And then 3, it analyzes the data and spits back some outputs based on your inputs. That's it. That's how GPT-3 works. So you say, create me a copywriting template to help me sell my digital product. Here's what the digital product is. And then Jasper analyzes the internet and then spits out the output. Or write me a blog post intro on XYZ topic. Here's what I want to cover. Analyzes, spits out that output. You give it direction, it gives you some output. Simple enough. Now, it's important to remember that the alternatives to Jasper, pretty much all of them use the same GPT-3 AI, the same underlying software. So where they differ is the front end user experience, how you access that AI. I don't know why I'm pointing back here, like there's actual AI back in my office. That would be weird. And to that end, I think Jasper is the best, especially if you do long form content. It's the best out there, period. I truly believe that. It's how you access the AI and use it that sets these different tools apart. Let's talk pricing. Jasper has 2 plans. The starter plan starts at $29 a month, and you get 20,000 word credits for that. And the boss mode plan, which is $59 a month, that's where it starts, at 50,000 words. And quite frankly, boss mode also opens up the long form editor, Jasper commands, as well as like built-in Surfer SEO integration and Copyscape and a plagiarism check and Grammarly integration and a whole host of other things. In just a second, I'm going to walk through who should use what plan because I have very strong opinions on that. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about the alternatives that are out there. Copy.ai was actually one of the first ones I used. It is probably more geared towards short form copywriting content, although they did just release like a first draft long form type of content producer. It works pretty well, but the user interface is not quite as good as Jasper's in my opinion. And it's about the same pricing, maybe a little bit cheaper for some of the plans. Copy.ai, it's a good alternative. You should go check that out. Now, PepperType is a big one that people recommend, and I do not recommend it for creators. It's geared more towards, in my opinion, agencies and companies and bigger teams. And quite frankly, I've only used it once or twice, and I just found it not as good, not as fun, especially for creators. Now, the 2 that I think are the strongest competitors to Jasper are WriteSonic and ContentBot. These are both a little bit more geared towards SEO and blogging, although they have the typical copywriting, sales frameworks, that sort of stuff too, just like Jasper. But they're also maybe a little bit cheaper I don't think their user interfaces are the best. Jasper definitely has more built-in tools to work with for bloggers, but Writesonic has an SEMrush integration, which I think is really neat. If you use SEMrush already, that's great. Jasper works with Surf for SEO, and it does it really well, by the way. But Writesonic, ContentBot, they have some more affordable plans for newer creators, but they don't work quite as well, in my opinion. And there's definitely less flexibility for how to use the AI. Again, accessing the AI, Jasper does it best, especially for long-term content people. Last one I'll throw out there is Rytr, R-Y-T-R. Very cheap. It's dirt cheap. It's the budget option, and it works like it. It's clunky. It's very difficult to use. It's not intuitive. And quite frankly, the AI that it spits back is not as good, period, as Jasper or Writesonic or Copy.ai. It's not as good. But if you're on a budget and you just want to try some of these tools, sure, I'll leave a link in the description below if you really want to do that. So straight up, who is it for? Is it worth you paying for? Is it worth it? Here's what I think. Starter plan, $29 a month, 20,000 words. Short form, copywriters and content creators. If you do Facebook ads, Google ads, if you have like clients or you do agency work and you're routinely producing a lot of short form copy, $29 a month, absolutely worth it. Now, if you're a long form creator, the boss mode plan is nearly a must have. Now, if you only do like 4 posts a month, probably not worth paying $59 for. SEO or otherwise, by the way. But if you do more content than that, if you do a lot of content, if you have a niche site or you're doing like 5 to 10 posts a month and you do copywriting especially, yes, absolutely worth it. The long form editor and its like integrations and Jasper commands and the content look back and Grammarly Copyscape, Surf for SEO, those things in the long form editor, 100% worth it. That's where Jasper shines. If you're a short form copywriter, starter plan. If you're a long form content creator who produces a lot of content, more than 3 or 4 posts a month, yes, it can and will help speed up your workflows, get more content out the door faster. It does. It works really well for those people. Okay, I have Jasper open right here. So let me give you a product tour, the different features, as well as show it to you in action. So this is what you'll see when you first log in, your dashboard. It will give you some news. It will show you the content credits you've been using. You can access your account down here. Again, to access billing stuff, you can add team members on any plan, which is amazing. Jasper also allows different folders, if you will. They call them projects. You could have different clients. If you have different blogs, you can keep stuff separate. All your content, your documents and stuff will be separate. I love that. Unlimited. It's a really great feature. First up, templates. These are your building blocks for all the different types of content that Jasper can do. Again, these are on the standard plan as well as boss mode, and they're pretty self-explanatory. You want to get some video topic ideas? You can click here and Jasper will walk you through the different steps. You want to generate some ADA sales copywriting. You enter in your product name, the description. You can choose a different tone of voice, and then you hit generate AI content and it spits stuff out. I'll do a few of these later in the video. Explain it to a child will simplify some content. Sentence expander does exactly what it sounds like. Different blogging tools, different ad tools, lots of different stuff here. Now, my absolute favorite part of Jasper and why I think people should pay for this, the long form editor. So they call them documents. I'm going to create a new one here. They have a blog post workflow. I never actually use this, but it does work pretty well for generating a title, the outline of a post, the intro, and then it works you through the long form editor. Here's what it is, just a blank page. And you can start by typing in titles. You can put in a content brief and then just let Jasper compose. Wouldn't actually suggest that. Stick around for my secret sauce tips in just a second. But this is roughly what it looks like. Let's actually open one that I've done. Here's one I've already written. It's just a normal editor. You can select bullet points, formatting stuff. Now, here's where this is really amazing. First of all, Grammarly just works. You can enable or disable that right here. There is a plagiarism checker that costs a few cents, by the way. It's not free. I uploaded $10 to my account right here. And then, I don't know, it's like 10 cents for 10,000 words. Like it's really, really cheap. Just a couple of cents for each blog post. And it will check the entire internet for plagiarism stuff. scan document. It's pretty helpful. They also have a rephrase tool. You can highlight a paragraph, hit rephrase, and it will actually give you some suggestions for you to ignore. You can copy, you can just click this check mark and it will insert. You can have it run again. Rephrase the sentence, that's pretty handy. Also fix grammar, also explain it to a 5th grader. That's really cool. You highlight a section and it rephrases it to be simpler and easier to understand. I really like that. Now, 2 of the cool things. Number 1, if you use Surfer SEO, there's a built-in integration right here in SEO mode where it shows you the outline, the brief, and the content guidelines for your piece of content. I personally, I think if you use Surfer SEO, this is an absolute game changer. It works really, really well. It updates instantaneously. It gives you suggestions. It's really great. Now, whether or not you use Surfer, not Urfer, doesn't matter. But they also have Power Mode. This accesses all of Jasper's templates right here in the long form editor. I think this is amazing. If you want to use Ada for your blog post intros, which is a great thing to do, in my opinion, I love this. Get their attention, get some interest, desire, and action to keep reading the blog post. It's really great. It works well. You enter in your stuff, you hit generate AI content. You can also change your outputs, by the way. And then it'll insert it, or actually it'll pull up right here, and when you can copy and paste it right over here into the long form editor. I love this for the new paragraph generator. You just enter in what your paragraph is about, maybe some keywords to include if you want to, tone of voice, and then hit generate AI content. It comes up with content and you can click to look at, you can favorite it, you can copy it, put it in your long form editor, etc. I think having access to these tools right here in the long form editor is really great. This is what makes Jasper better, in my opinion, than most of the other competitors. All of those tools right here and an editor where you get to format the content. And by the way, Jasper learns from the writing. As in, the more you write and you edit and format, the better the AI is. It will predict your formatting, your tone of voice, how you capitalize words, all this sort of stuff. The AI learns from what you create, and the best place to do that is the long form editor. And that does that better than any other of the AI tools that I have tested. Next up, another boss mode feature is the command tool. Instead of hitting compose, you can actually give Jasper detailed instructions right here in the editor. And they have a whole list of commands you can choose from, but you can do stuff like write an outline for the headline above. And you hit command enter or control enter, and it gives you an outline. There we go. Now let's do write a content brief for the above outline. Command enter or control enter, and it'll write a content brief. I will copy and paste that over here in the content brief section, and then I will do write a blog post intro for the outline above. Command enter. So it's just a very easy way to use natural language processing to give Jasper commands. You tell it what to do right here in the editor, and it does it. And then we'll answer all 3 questions, and then I'm just gonna hit compose to like finish out this thing right here. There we go. And by the way, you can like do this. I'm gonna like copy that, put it down here, turn that into an H2, and then do write a list of subheaders for the headline above. And it'll give me some, there we go. Some more stuff here to work with. The command tool, pretty simple. You command Jasper what to do, and they have a whole list of things that you can choose from. Write a list of FAQs for this blog post. See what it comes up with. All right, let that finish its thought right here. Feed my cat a high quality diet. A lot of FAQs, and then you could literally just come in here and hit compose, and it would like answer this fact. Pretty cool. Now I have more videos on Jasper templates and recipes, which I'll leave a link to in the description below as well. There's one other thing I want to show you. Recipes. So it's kind of odd how they worded this, but recipes are basically pre-made templates, long form editor templates that have a bunch of commands already listed in there that you can just do. I have a few of my own. I'll leave a link to some of them in the description, but if you do open recipe, you can see a video for it, a description, and then here is what the recipe is. and it has some variables based on the topic you're creating, but you just click run from any of these. And actually just go back. I'll do one of my own right here, 1 hour blog post, or how about 1 hour review? I'll click run right from here, and it automatically opens up a brand new document with my notes and my description right here. And then you can see I already have a bunch of commands. Write a paragraph about blah, 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 blah. So you would put in the variables. I'm obviously doing a review post, so product. And then you use the Jasper command feature and it goes. It's a recipe for a specific type of content. And they have a ton of different recipes. You can also create your own. You can save your own. You can do some Googling and find a bunch of really great recipes. Again, I have a whole nother video on this, so you should go check that out in the description below where we talk more about recipes, but they're fantastic. Also, it's worth noting that they have an extremely active Facebook group community. It's really good. They're constantly sharing tips or asking for advice. They have job postings. If you're hiring freelance writers who use Jasper, or if you are one and you want work, they do all sorts of cool stuff there. And they also have really good documentation. They have a full Jasper boot camp. It's the official learn how to use this tool, which I think everybody should go with, because if not, you're wasting your money. You got to figure out how to learn to use it. And luckily, they have really good documentations and tutorials. All right, it's time for my secret sauce to actually make these tools work. Most people dive in and they don't really understand what the tool is for, and then they don't really think it's worth it, and they're not really sure how the AI works, and so on and so forth. So here are my tips. The first one's boring, but I have to say it anyways. Think of Jasper like an assistant. It's not here to do everything for you. You still have to give it direction. You have to tell Jasper what to do. And if you can do that, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, it is an assistant that will help you complete the thoughts that are already in your head and make things go faster and smoother from there. It's not a done for you. It can't put ideas in your head of what to create that well. You have to give it direction. It's an assistant. It's not a done for you tool. Secret sauce tip number 2. This one's a game changer. Edit as you go. Let Jasper spit out some content and then edit some right there. Use your tone of voice, use your style of formatting, correct any facts or opinions that you see the AI created, and then go again. And then edit as you go, and then go again. The reason this is so insanely important is because Jasper gets better at your tone of voice, your formatting, and the facts of whatever you're writing about, the more you give it to work with. It will look back at the content you've already created, and then it will keep going. Edit as you go. 100% game changer for using this tool. Tip number 3, closely related, get used to constantly deleting outputs. It's just gonna spit ideas at you. And quite frankly, I still delete like 60, 70% of what Jasper gives me. It's still an overall time saver, by the way. 1 out of 10 times, it's like literally perfect. Another 50% of the time, I will change like 1 or 2 things and I'll delete the rest. And then maybe like 20% of the time, it's just terrible and I just delete and I do it again. I work really fast. It's still an overall time saver, but it's important to know that the AI can get off track really quickly. Oftentimes, the first 1 or 2 sentences that it spits out will be like really great, and then it'll go in some different direction. Get used to deleting that and then editing and then going again. That is the process for making this tool work. And once you figure that out, it will start to go faster and it'll be a game changer. The next secret sauce tip I'm stealing from Corey Who Writes here on YouTube. She's fantastic. She has a lot of great Jasper videos. You should go check out her channel. Jasper really stinks at knowing your opinion without you telling it, and the facts, the cold hard data and facts about whatever you're writing about. Jasper doesn't do those 2 things well. So what you can do is feed that information to Jasper right at the top of your document. Before you even start writing, this is what I do. I research my talking points, my overall opinion. If I'm doing a product review, the facts of the product, I literally just copy and paste that, don't even worry about the formatting, into Jasper at the very top of the long form editor. This is just how I do it. And then I start letting Jasper compose stuff. Again, it looks back and reads my opinions and data and facts, and then it gets it right more often than not. Opinions, facts, Jasper stinks at, so just feed it to the AI right at the top of your article or in your product description for your copywriting stuff. Give it the data, the facts, and the opinion up front. It'll do a lot better job. Next is a money-saving tip. By default, If you run the Jasper templates, they'll give you 3 outputs to choose from. It's pretty handy, but it also uses a lot of credits in some respects, especially for like the paragraph generator. So cut it down to just 1 or maybe 2 outputs. You can always delete those and create more if you need to, but there's no need to waste credits right up front. The next step I've said like 7 times, but I'll say it again. Don't give up right away if you're like unhappy with what the AI produced for you. It does take a hot minute to figure out how to best use Jasper. These AI tools are still crazy complicated on the back end, and they're still figuring things out. The more you play around with this, the better and easier it will get, and then you'll get into like a nice little flow and you'll start pumping out content. But don't give up right away. Last tip is to use Jasper for what it's actually for. Fast, rough drafts. Fast, rough drafts. Yes, I know I said edit as you go, but I mean just like small formatting stuff and just like deleting unnecessary content that Jasper will spit out. I don't mean like images or links or like really heavy formatting. Edit a little bit as you go for your tone of voice and your formatting, and then trust it to get more content out fast. Fast, rough drafts is what Jasper is best at. And if you do a lot of content, you can see where the $59 a month is easily worth it to get fast, rough drafts out the door in like 30 minutes to an hour for like 3,000 word blog post. That's worth it right there, just for one blog post for me. You do that like times 10, it's really valuable, but you have to know what it's for. Actually, the real last tip is to actually watch it in action from people like me, using the recipes especially. I'll leave a link in the video description below with my videos showing me using Jasper. I promise, this will actually start to make it click in your brain. You'll learn like, oh, okay, I see how Pete's using this thing now. So go check those videos out. And of course, if you want to try Jasper for free, I'll leave a link below to get 10,000 words completely free. So you can try it out for like 4 or 5 days to see if it's worth paying for you. Thank you guys for watching. Adios.